Hello guys, I am back with another one. This is not so much focusing on the news, but this has to do with entertainment. You know you have to watch over your children and pay attention to what they are watching on television. Well, HBO is coming out with a new series called Euphoria. And this is not something that your teenagers should be watching. I'm going to fill you in. It is starring Zendaya Coleman, and let's get into it. It says HBO drags Disney star into the gutter. The programmers at HBO pride themselves in setting the tone for the rest of television, especially when it comes to the absence of taste. From Bill Maher's real-time talk show tantrums to Lena Dunham marching around undressed on girls. Every time HBO hits bottom of the gutter, it finds a way to go deeper still. It is really headed into the gutter and it knows it. A new HBO series about teenagers and sex and drugs is called Euphoria. It is starting June 16th, which is tomorrow, so this is short notice. I don't know if you've seen advertisements for this show because I no longer watch cable or have TV. I've been without TV service for over 10 years. Once I found out about all the evils and the machinations of these evil people and what they are doing with television programming, I kind of stopped that because I didn't want my son watching it. Okay, so this starts June 16th, starting 22-year-old Zendaya, another former Disney Channel star, desperately seeking to keep her career alive in the eyes of Hollywood, casting agents and limiting herself to one name in the pursuit of that. The show's creator, Sam Levinson. Now I can go on about this name, but I'm not, because I don't know if you know this, but YouTube has been informing YouTube creators about their new policies, all these so-called protective groups and all these things that you can't say. I've already had several videos removed, as well as other people, people being demonetized. I don't even have enough people following me or subscribe to me to be demonetized, but I am suffering from the repercussions of saying certain things and having my videos removed. And now, they stepped it up the notch. They're even talking about flagging you and just completely getting rid of your channel. So you have to be real creative at what you say now on YouTube. But let's get back to the story with HBO and this show Euphoria. Okay, so Sam Levinson gleefully predicted to the Hollywood Reporter. Now listen how he says this. There are going to be parents who are going to be totally effing freaked out. Gleefully saying that he's going to freak out parents by the things that he's going to show on this new show he's producing. So that lets you know already that this is headed in a bad direction, and you should not have your teenagers, your young people at home watching this. This is how the Hollywood Reporter began its story. Excuse me guys, but this is kind of vulgar. It says 30 penises in one episode. Zendaya's new series filled with graphic nudity, violence, and drug use among young people is so extreme that one star quit mid-shoot. But the network hopes that authenticity will help the show break through. Well, this world is in the gutter. This is a sinful world, so I'm pretty sure it's going to attract those type of people. But if you are not of that group and you are a child of God, son and daughter of God, you should not tune into this show or let your kids tune into this show. It says, authenticity. That's the word HBO uses when it makes a wildly over-the-top series. Levinson claimed the point of the show is to expose an adult audience to the challenges of growing up in 2019 and that many of the scenes come directly from his own life. Well, we know it says expose adults, but we know how sneaky teenagers are. You were a teenager once, I was a teenager once. We always trying to be mischievous and do something we ain't got no business doing. It may seem boundary pushing, and the idea of putting them on TV may be. Levinson, born in 1985, is the son of top Tinseltown filmmaker Barry Levinson. Many somebodies have navigated through dramatically sinful lives, but that doesn't mean they're all going to be exploited by HBO. If the company just loves authenticity for its own sake, can we expect it to run Gosnell on its channels or Unplanned? Or is the authentic ugliness of the abortion industry just too tawdry? Casey Bloys, HBO programming president, claimed the show is not sensational to be sensational. There is zero authenticity in that claim. Levinson says HBO executives have been supportive, but they did push back on 2 scenes. He wanted to start the whole series with a camera shot focusing on the birth of Zendaya's character that came from behind a doctor and went straight between her mother's legs and into her vagina. The reporter says, in the actual version, her character narrates over a clip of herself in utero saying, "I was repeatedly crushed over and over by the cruel cervix of my mother." The network also protested a scene in the second episode featuring dozens of naked high school boys. How responsible. What made it to air is a trimmed down version of the original shot, which included like 80 more penises. The reporter says, it never ceases to amaze that HBO is now the first destination for new Sesame Street programming. The executives cravenly crashed in. Parents Television Council President Tim Winter made the most salient point to the Hollywood Reporter. This show appears to be overtly, intentionally marketing extremely graphic adult content, sex, violence, profanity, and drug use to teens and preteens. HBO makes its way into millions of American homes, and not just on the television anymore. Children can easily stream a perverted show like this on their laptops or iPads or even cell phones. Parents should be alerted that this smutty show will be bubbling up from the bottom of the sewer until HBO goes deeper still. So that's scary. So you put a lock on your TV and somebody's bad kids at school whose parent gave them too much liberty with these cell phones are gonna have streaming HBO. They're gonna be probably watching this at school, you know, on their iPads. This is, it never ceases to amaze me, the steps that, and it's the enemy, that the power of darkness takes to entrap souls. He's getting them while they're young, because the young, you know, it's so easy to exploit a young mind, young impressionable minds. And this is not really a show that's going to inform parents. This is going to demoralize children. That is what this show is going to do. So parents, I hope you heed this warning and try to take steps, whatever extra measures you can, to prevent your children from viewing something like this, because it's going to lead to just probably a gateway to drugs if they're not engaging in sex, promiscuity, you know, trying to explore, you know, having sex and all other types of things. So that's all I had to share with you guys. That's it, and I'll see you on the next one.